Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes report for the past 24 odd hours and some very crazy frontline changes for today. So do check it out and stay all the way to the end of the video if you can. If you cannot, you are wussy. Okay, so we're gonna go into the Liman front. At the Liman front, there is a geolocation of Russian forces entering into the northern part of Torske. And so this geolocation confirms the Russians advance in this sector as they return back to the northern part of Torske, and potentially they could attack into Zarishne. So this frontline change is really traveled quite a bit of distance. It's around 3.5 kilometers on average. So a very, very deep charge by the Russian forces into this northern part of this town, this very sparse town. So spastic town. Yeah. So anyway, so after this one over at the Liman front, the Lemon front, we go all the way to Krychorivka over at the Bakhmut front. So this is Bakhmut, also known as Wagner land. Over in Krychorivka, Russian forces has been geolocated within this forest, and so with this corroborates the Russian claims that they have control of this forest. So just a small little change around here. In the next frontline change, we jump to the Pokrosk Front, and this is one of the crazy ones. As you can see, there's another even crazier one over there. So over at the New York sector, so this is New York, by the way, the Ukrainian New York, which is also now Russian New York. Very confusing because it's very hard to tell, it's under who right now. So over as the north of Sukhbalka, Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA have mapped that the Russian forces that advance greatly in the north of Sukhbalka, capturing multiple tree lines, gullies, and farmlands. So this is quite a bit of a change, with the distance traveled around 1.7 kilometers deep. This chunk alone is 5.81 square kilometers. So this is a very big size of capture for 24 hours, which means that Ukrainians have abundant positions around here. They are not defending this place. So I believe the next defense line might be around here at Romanivka, maybe these Gali regions. Maybe these are the next defense line. If they abandon this position, then we're going to jump all the way up to all these tree lines just south of the Konstantinivka, which is will be quite shocking if that happens. Actually not very shocking, but yeah. So at the Pokrosk northern flank, Pokrosk front, we have this massive update. You can see if I zoom in, you can't really see the whole thing. So it all started off with this geolocation at Novo-Olenivka. Russian forces, for some reason, from Tarasivka, from this position suddenly appear here. And according to the footage that I saw, it is a motorcycle assault. So there is a full squad, like maybe even a platoon worth of Russian soldiers, basically riding into Olenivka and starting to clear the area there. They're supported by FPV drones, and they basically chase the Ukrainians out of Olenivka. And so my initial mapping is basically leading from Tarasivka. So from Tarasivka all the way up in a very direct way along the river and the lake. However, based on Russian mapping, they included even Alexandropil, with the Russian forces entering the Alexandropil. So this other half on the eastern part, on the left side, on the right side, this part here, this is Russian claim. This area here, this one is a Russian claim. The only firm one is this one over at Novo-Olenivka, because this is confirmed by geolocation. However, the other side, this is based on Russian claim. So if you zoom out a bit, you can see the full thing, which includes the Russian forces claiming that they have expanded everything from the north of Olenivka, entering into Alexandropil, and then from Tarasivka, which they now is confirmed capture, which is also acknowledged by the Ukrainian mapping, have fanned out drastically from all directions and do a motorcycle assault all the way to Novo-Olenivka. So this is the huge frontline change. The distance between the geolocation to our previous front line is 4.4 kilometers in distance. It's pretty far away. This advance is generally around 4 kilometers. Like from here to here is 4 kilometers. So it's on average 4 kilometers deep. This is a massive update. And the total area captured at Pokrosk here is already like 70.27 square kilometers. So this is a very big frontline change, and it totally changes the tactical and strategic situation around here, because the Russians suddenly entering into Novo Alexandropil, and they most likely going to fully capture Novo Alexandrovka, given the video footage of how they are clearing the village with seemingly not enough Ukrainian defenders. I think this is going to wrap up very quickly. Which also brings into question whether the Ukrainians is able to is actually defending anymore over here, in meaningful numbers. So that's something here. We'll talk more in the sit rep or maybe the conclusions. We shall see how. And then the last frontline change is over about Kharkiv. So previously we have mentioned about the geolocation of Russian forces, going into the entrance of Kharkiv from Rozliv. Based on Russian mapping, they have expanded beyond what I have mapped. They reckon that this area here is also under Russian control, which makes sense because all of these areas here is pretty much open ground, and this is a bit of an impossibility. So the Russian forces moving in is strengthening the front line. Don't make perfect sense. This is a new tree line that they claim. So from that position moving westward, I don't think is not too far-fetched. So this is not a very impossible mapping change, but this is a Russian claim, by the way. So this only mentioned by Ryba. They mapped it in this way. So that's the frontline change for this. So we look at the total area captured. The Ukrainian forces captured nothing. So well done. And so for the Russians, no, they retreated very far. They give up so much territory in reverse, and so it's 9.61 plus 0.41 plus 5.81 plus 17.27 plus 2.91. So the total area inversely surrendered by the Russian forces is 36.01 square kilometers. So this is very big. We shall see whether this will sustain for the next few days or even a few weeks, because it looks like the northern flank of the Pokrosk Front and the New York sector seems to be given up, abandoned by the Ukrainian defenders. So there should be some kind of a frontline correction for a few days, where the Russians will capture a lot of grounds if the Ukrainians are unwilling to hold the ground, then until they reach the next firm defense line. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and also check out the new deal between Ukraine and United States. So this is a important deal, and I think it have a massive geopolitical circumstances and in relation to the war and the United States influence in the region. I'll see you guys in the next update.